Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight on your Tuesday. I'm Sophie Erber. An Iowa gas station went up in flames this morning after a semi started on fire and ignited the main building there. Details now in our top story at 5. Sparky's One Stop is located on Highway 4 that's near Rockwell City. The Calhoun County Sheriff's Office says they were called out to the scene around 10:30 in the morning. This for a semi truck that was engulfed in flames. Other law enforcement agencies also responded. They helped to redirect traffic away from that gas station. Crews spent hours putting out the flames there and also watching for any hot spots.
Rockwell City ran water to the Twin Lakes just this last year, so there's hydrants right across the road here, so you didn't have to go very far for water, which really helped out. So then the wind picked up and it was too far gone at that point.
Chief Voigt says that some fuel pumps were damaged, but the fuel tanks beneath them were untouched by those flames, so some good news there. It is unknown how the fire began. Only the semi-driver was injured with smoke inhalation. In national news tonight, an attorney for the family of Brian Laundrie says that he fatally shot himself in the head. His skeletal remains found in a Florida nature preserve were positively identified last month using dental records. Laundrie had been the subject of a manhunt for more than a month as investigators searched for clues in the disappearance and death of his girlfriend, Gabby Petito. It was during their cross-country van trip together. After being acquitted of all charges, Kyle Rittenhouse is telling his side of the story to the media tonight. Following an appearance on Fox News, he's now going one-on-one with Ashley Banfield.
Why have you used hand signs that are commonly associated with white supremacy?
That's a good question. I didn't know that the OK hand sign was a symbol for white supremacy, just as I didn't know that those people in the bar were Proud Boys. They were set up by my former attorney who was fired because of that, for putting me in situations like that with people I don't agree with.
The full hour unedited interview airs tonight on Banfield. That's at 9 Central Time and only on News Nation. The jury has begun their deliberations in the Ahmaud Arbery trial. 3 Georgia men are charged in his shooting death. Jurors will decide if one or all of them are guilty of murder. Travis McMichael, his father Greg, and neighbor William Bryant have pled not guilty to the crime. It is unknown when the jury will return with a verdict. A conviction could send them to prison for life. One major step is being taken tonight to try and lower gas prices for the holiday travel season. The White House team says the U.S. will tap into the reserve stockpile to help with demand on the market. And our Washington correspondent Rashad Hudson has the very latest.
Good evening. With Americans paying more for gas than they have in years, the White House says it's taking steps to drive down prices.
Today, we're launching a major effort to moderate the price of oil.
Tuesday, President Biden announced the U.S. is releasing 50 million barrels of oil from the nation's strategic petroleum reserve to offset the surge at the pump.
This coordinated action will help us deal with the lack of supply, which in turn helps ease prices.
According to AAA, Americans are paying on average $3.40 per gallon.
High gas prices. This is a problem.
As the world exits the pandemic and increases demand, the president says he is working with other countries across the world to address the lack of supply. But the White House acknowledges these actions are only a short-term fix.
So we just need to bridge for this time for people to, working families can't afford to pay too much at the pump.
Republicans like Florida Senator Rick Scott say the skyrocketing prices are a direct result of the president's bad energy policies.
He shuts down pipelines, right? He doesn't let, there's no drilling on federal land now. He says he wants to get rid of the entire fossil fuel industry, basically.
Scott says the White House needs to promote domestic oil production.
We got to figure out how to become energy independent.
This is only a temporary solution. The White House says it will continue to work with OPEC and oil and gas companies to lower prices. Reporting in Washington, Rashad Hudson, back to you.
Thanks, Rashad. And Iowa cattle producers are hopeful in a recently proposed bill and that it will be met with approval in Congress. That bill, now known as the Cattle Price Discovery and Transparency Act, would ensure a more level playing field in the cattle market. According to Iowa Senator Chuck Grassley and Nebraska Senator Deb Fischer, The act, if passed, would require the USDA to disclose more information like carcass weights the day after slaughter and agreements that producers make with meat packers. Meanwhile, Kellogg's plans to start hiring permanent replacements for some of its 1,400 striking cereal plant workers progresses tonight. This after negotiations broke down once again. The company says it's now moving forward with its contingency plan to keep its plants operating. Union workers have been on strike now since October 5th. Negotiations are not scheduled to resume until the week of December 6th. That strike includes a Kellogg's plant in Omaha, Nebraska. And it's time now for another top story tonight. Chief Meteorologist Scott Larson with us. And Scott, we broke a record.
We sure did, Sophie. It was a beautiful day outside with lots of sunshine, a strong southerly flow to the wind, and high temperatures stretching into the 60s and 70s. Still waiting on the final update to come in from the National Weather Service to our computer system here, but did see that they hit 68 officially in Sioux City this afternoon. 69 in Wayne, 71 for Yankton, 63 the high temperature in Cherokee. We were able to get past that previous daily record that was set back in 2017 by 5 degrees here today. Overnight lows should be slipping down into the 30s and 40s. Chillier conditions anticipated for Thanksgiving. We'll have much more in the 9 on 9 forecast. Stay tuned. Sophie?
All right, thanks a lot, Scott. While flu cases were low last year, a Siouxland District Health official tonight says they could be on the rise this year. Siouxland District Health officials say that flu symptoms are similar to COVID-19 symptoms, and they hope that people will still get their COVID test even if they think they just have the flu. Coming up tonight at 6, tune in to hear some important differences between the symptoms of those two viruses. And as Thanksgiving approaches, Siouxland District Health officials say they're worried about the spread of coronavirus and other illnesses during the holiday season. Tyler Brock is the Deputy Director of Siouxland District Health, and he says Siouxlanders should stay home even if they just feel a little bit ill.
And you don't have to be, down and out sick. If you're starting to come down with something, stay home because there's a good chance that you're going to spread something around.
Brock does not think all Siouxlanders need to get a COVID test before Thanksgiving, but he does encourage those to monitor themselves closely for any symptoms and also for people to practice safety measures such as hand washing. And as Siouxlanders get ready for Thanksgiving, officials want to remind everyone to be safe in their own kitchens. Sioux City Fire Rescue says they see more structure fires on Turkey Day than on any other day of the year. They discourage the use of turkey fryers and strongly urge Siouxlanders to use meat thermometers. For more fire prevention safety tips, you can visit our website. We have them posted right now at SiouxlandProud.com, where you can check this story on the KCAU 9 mobile news app. And we are learning more tonight about the deadly parade incident in Waukesha, Wisconsin. Police say it wasn't the first time the suspect used his car as a weapon. We have the details coming up.
And some windy and colder weather is on the docket for tomorrow. We should expect to have a brisk Thanksgiving Day. Pretty pleasant, though, as we enter the weekend for holiday shopping. Your 9 on 9 forecast coming up next.
You're watching KCAU 9 News with Sophie Erber and Chief Meteorologist Scott Larson. This is KCAU 9 News at 5.
Thanks for sticking with us. Felt more like a spring day or a very early fall day that we had here in Siouxland, and we broke a record to boot.
Yeah, a really nice November day out there today, Sophie, with high temperatures in the 60s and 70s. Those 70s were reached in northeast Nebraska today. That's where we're looking now from the Wayne State College camera in Wayne, America. The almanac for today displays that very warm high temperature of 68 that was reached this afternoon in Sioux City. That breaks the previous record of 63 degrees for the date that was set back in 2017. So not exactly a long-standing record, but 4 years ago we were treated to some nice conditions as well. Low temperature this morning of 26 in Sioux City. Here's what's going on at this time. The temperature still feels very comfortable, so still have a little bit of daylight out there. Right around 50 degrees Friday, Saturday, and Sunday too. Even warmer on Monday, cruising up to 59 degrees, sunny skies. And then some more clouds will filter in through the course of next week. No major chances of rain or snow, with temperatures looking to descend into the 40s next Wednesday and Thursday. Here's Here's a nice mix of some sun and clouds over Grandview Park in Sioux City. This came to us courtesy of Jamie. A very pretty picture there, as you can see some of those trees, kind of a silhouette in the foreground. Make sure to send in your weather pictures to us, weather@kcautv.com. We'll send you a quick and easy form to fill out, send it back to us, and we'll feature your pictures throughout the day here on KCAU 9 News.
I have a feeling if anyone snaps some today, again, we might be confused as to what season it truly is. And is Thanksgiving this week?
Yeah, Thursday.
Crazy.
Coming up.
All right, thanks a lot, Scott. You might have noticed I am expecting a baby boy this holiday season, and you have a chance to play a guessing game along with me. How much will the baby weigh at birth? If you're right, you win a $50 gift card. Head on over to the website, SiouxlandProud.com. You can click on the contest tab there. Sophie's Mini-Me Baby Weight Challenge. And after almost 2 years of this COVID-19 pandemic ongoing, Americans tonight are planning a more traditional holiday this year. TSA says they're bracing for impact. We have more coming up. But first, police say the man who plowed through a parade crowd in Wisconsin is not new to breaking the law or using his vehicle to do so. We'll explain next.
More journalists bringing you more news and more video. It's all at your fingertips. SiouxlandProud.com and the KCAU 9 News app are your sources for the latest news, weather, and sports 24 hours a day. KCAU 9 Digital News. We're Siouxland Proud.
Welcome back. The suspect who police say drove his vehicle into a holiday parade, killing 5 people and injuring at least 48 in suburban Milwaukee, is about to appear in court. This, as we're learning, this was not the first time Darrell Brooks allegedly used his vehicle as a weapon. ABC's Faith Abube has the latest.
Newly released booking photo of 39-year-old Darrell Brooks just before he appears in court Tuesday to answer to intentional homicide charges for each of the 5 people police say he killed Sunday night. There could be even more charges added for the dozens more injured when Brooks allegedly rammed his red SUV into a holiday parade in the small Wisconsin town.
I'll tell you this, we actually had a squad and barricades up, and he drove right through the barricades and the officers.
Ryan Conkey's niece is among the victims still in the hospital.
Jesselyn is still fighting for her life. She took direct impact from the car.
Jane Coolidge did not make it. The 52-year-old's family describing her as a mother, grandmother, and beloved wife who put her family first. They say they feel robbed. Tamara Duran's husband telling ABC News she's already missed dearly, adding the 52-year-old was vibrant, loving, and warm. Community members mourning with the 2 families and those of the 3 other victims who died.
I feel like it's just showing that our community is going to stay strong, even with the evil people.
This was the suspect's second arrest this month alone. Just 21 days ago, Brooks was arrested for using what appears to be the same red SUV to allegedly run over the mother of his child. He was being held in jail on charges related to that incident until this past Friday, when he walked out on a $1,000 bond. The Milwaukee County District Attorney saying in a statement that bail recommendation was inappropriately low. And the investigation into the holiday parade tragedy continues. Prosecutors say they'll consider additional charges once they determine the full extent of the victims' injuries. In Washington, Faith Abube, ABC News.
And News Nation Prime gathers news from across our country at 8 every night. After that, there is a special edition of Banfield we mentioned, and we have another preview.
It was the trial that divided the nation. And now, after being acquitted on all charges, Kyle Rittenhouse goes one-on-one with me. I'll ask him the questions that you want answered. Tonight, for a full hour, see the unedited, uninterrupted interview that America has been waiting to see. There's only one cable news network committed to covering all sides of the story. Don't miss the powerful Kyle Rittenhouse interview tonight on Banfield, only on News Nation.
Again, that's at 9 following News Nation. You could tune in on News Nation on any of the channels on your screen, or if you're interested, check your local guide. And Americans are ready to hit the road and the friendly skies this holiday season. Officials say there are some things, though, to do before you fly. A few travel tips coming up next. We know many Americans are preparing for a more traditional Thanksgiving celebration this year after coronavirus. The TSA expects 2.4 million passengers on the Sunday after Thanksgiving. ABC's Morgan Norwood has a few tips for those of you heading out to the airport.
After a slow Thanksgiving for travel last year due to COVID, this year, passengers are coming back in a big way.
So it's going to be about twice as busy as it was in 2020, pretty close to where we were in 2019 for Thanksgiving.
So if you're one of those taking a trip over Thanksgiving, here's some tips to help you get through it. First, don't wait until the day of your flight to see if your trip is on schedule.
Check your flight status online early days ahead of time. Very often when these cancellations do happen, they do happen 1, 2, or 3 days in advance, and you'd much rather find out about them from the comfort of your own home than in the airport.
If you need a rental car and you haven't booked one yet, do it now.
We're expecting rental car prices to be very high over the holiday weekend at around $80 a day. And availability could also be a concern here. So if you haven't booked your rental car, you want to make sure that you have that reserved before you depart for Thanksgiving.
If your flight does get canceled or significantly delayed, you're entitled to a cash refund under federal law. But you could also negotiate for a different trip.
But if you go into the situation and say, hey, listen, I know I'm entitled to a refund, but instead of this refund, I'd rather be rebooked on this itinerary that I found. 9 times out of 10, the airline agents are going to comply.
Finally, if you still want to travel for Thanksgiving but you haven't booked yet, experts say keep an eye out for some last-minute deals to short-haul international destinations.
That's because there's no demand for international flights for Thanksgiving. If you love your family but you love a beach and a margarita a little bit more, hey, you might have a good deal waiting for you.
Morgan Norwood, ABC News, Los Angeles.
And experts add that especially this year, get to the airport early and also pack your patience. Lines expected to be long and there could be some staffing shortages at many airports nationwide. And we take a live look outside right now on this warm night. Scott returns with one more check on our forecast. First, a live look at sunset over downtown Sioux City. Stay with us. Before we wrap up here at 5, let's check in first with Tim for what's coming up at 6. Hi, Tim.
Hey, good afternoon, Sophie. An update on a story that you reported on earlier in this newscast. Investigators tonight are sifting through the charred remains left behind after a morning blaze at a Sparky's One Stop just off of Highway 20 near Rockwell City, Iowa. Gusty winds spread those flames from burning gas pumps to a portion of a convenience store. We'll talk to investigators and have an update at 6. Also ahead in just a half an hour, see a massive collection of military vehicles, all secured and stored by a Siouxland man. Find out what led him to the heavy equipment and unique vehicles and the family's connection to World War II ammunition. That's all coming up at 6, as are highlights from today's Nebraska High School football championship games played down in Lincoln. Jake has that coming up.
That's right. They finished just a few days after Iowa. Thanks a lot, Tim. Looking forward to that. And really, if you haven't been able to enjoy part of the day, you still have time to enjoy what's left of this evening.
Right. In case you missed it, we did set a new record high temperature this afternoon of 68 degrees in Sioux City. 35 the overnight low with increasing clouds. And with the dynamics in place as that cooler air comes in, there might be a sprinkle or two that persists into tomorrow morning. 47 the high tomorrow afternoon with cloudy skies, breezy conditions. Down to 34 for the high on Thanksgiving. But it looks like the weekend will be nice with highs around 50 and a good amount of sunshine to go along with it.
All right. Thanks, Scott. Thank you for joining us. World News is next. We'll see you all at 6. Until then, have a great night, everyone.